In this video, we will be looking at Certificate of Candidacy filing na. Marcos, ayaw kay Marcos, Alice Guo, not guilty plea, at marami pang iba. Do you know why? Because Kumusta for me? This is for Joseph and welcome to News Cyberworthy Recap Weekly Edition number 71. We have tons to cover since last week, so skip to the timestamps provided if it piques your interest. Kaya pagkantana for the places selected summation. Here are some page news commentary for your convenience. Certificate of Candidacy, filing na. Nag-umpisa na ang ating time-honored tradition of filing Certificate of Candidacy papers para sa halalan or para sa paparating na halalan. Talagang blockbuster at parang family reunion ang peg ng ating mga Comelec sites or basta yung Certificate of Candidacy filing sites. Ginagawa ng family business ang politika, something never, ever done before. Mahigit 18,000 o 18,000 posisyon sa gobyerno papalitan or pag-aagawan ng ating mga kandidato at ng mga kamag-anak nila para sa 2025 midterm elections. These positions include half of the Senate, all 254 congressmen including 63 party list representatives, 82 governors and vice governors for our provinces, 792 provincial board councilors, may 12,000 municipal council at ang counterpart nitong city council na may 1,600 na mga konsehal. Kasama rin ang 149 city mayor at vice mayors, including almost 1,500 mayor or municipal mayor at vice mayor, including 65 BARM. Okay, that's the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao related position. Now, I've already said this since the dawn of man and most notably last week nung aking kinover yung pag-endorse ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. ng kanyang senatorial slate para sa 2025 midterm elections that usually serves the purpose at yung pagsusurmise kung maganda ba ang naging takbo ng kasalukuyang administrasyon because, lalakas ang oposisyon kung mahina or hindi ka aya-aya or hindi attractive yung prospect ng another term with full support from the legislature. And if you've watched my NIDW recap number 70, maalala mong I had this worrying foresight na lahat sa 12 kandidato na inendorso ni Marcos ay mananalo para sa paparating na eleksyon. Now, I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just saying that it is most likely to happen. And as I said, like 7 sa 12 ang maaaring manalo. Almost everyone there is a trapo coming from a political dynasty o kaya na may artista with some of those three overlapping like a fucked up Venn diagram for the Filipino people. And yes, I've even tackled this noong NIDW recap number 57, kung gusto nyo panoorin yun, regarding Sara Duterte's announcement na tatakbo sina Baste, Paulo at Patriarch and former President Rodrigo Duterte para sa 2025 Senate elections, which are one of the few people that could actually make it so na hindi 12 out of 12 ang magiging senatorial bets ni Marcos. Now, this is a worrying aspect na magkakaroon na naman tayo ng mga magkakapamilya sa Kongreso. Isang katutak sa House of Representatives, tapos may magnanay, magkapatid, may kapatid na presidente, nakipagpalitan pa nga yung magkapatid, o kaya na may part of a prominent political family in the national and respective local politics. Now, we can't also take what the Constitution says as something to be used para pigilang tumakbo ang mga kandidato with their family kasi the wording says in Article 2, Section 26 na the state shall guarantee equal access to opportunities for public service and prohibit political dynasties as may be defined by law. The problem here is walang law enforceable that prohibits political dynasty or dynasties except para sa mga barangay at SK. You can also just bar your citizens in holding public offices kasi in the same line, sinabi rin ng state or sinabi rin na the state shall guarantee equal access to opportunities for public service. So this is kind of a contradictory kung titignan mo. And if you look at it from the POV of someone from a political dynastic background, makikita mo na they're trampling their constitutional rights. Mahirap gumawa ng ganong batas kasi it will probably be held up against Article 2, Section 26 to be declared by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional. The only realistic way you can enforce Article 2, Section 26 is to leave it and rather provide that kung will of the people, they can just replace the political dynasty and replace them with a budding new one. Sure, it's worrying na tatakbo sa politika itong tatlong mag-aama at magkakapatid and a lot of other senatorial bets at mga tumatakbo dahil gusto lang nila. And will probably be voted in by the people, pero it's not worrying dahil magkakamag-anak sila, rather worrying dahil hindi alam or alam nating iboboto sila dahil sa kanilang apelyido and not because of their merit or platform for their candidacy. And that's what political dynasties are prone into doing aside from giving their kins advantage in campaigning. Kumbaga, you're just hammering down your surname para alam mo na sa susunod, kapag tapos na ang termino mo or kapag tapos na may naka-reach ka na ng tatlong term mo sa House of Representatives o sa mayoral elections, siya na yung papalit. You're building them up. The problem isn't that the entire extended family has a family reunion or regular family reunion sa COMELEC, rather kung bakit sila binoboto ng tao, which is primarily because it's convenient. Hindi mo na kailangang isipin kung sino ang iboboto mo. Because as the old saying goes, better stick to the devil you know than the angel you don't. And it's just a lot of work for people to research every single one of these persons. So, you know what? Kilala ko naman si ganito. I don't like him, but, could be worse. So, I'll just choose him. So, the problem here, or so the problem lies with who actually votes for these people and what are the tactics used to perpetuate that system, which includes making it so that they don't have time to research these candidates. At saka, of course, they would be mal-educated or even misinformed. Mas maraming artista pa nga ata ang nag-file ng kanilang candidacy kung ikukumpara mo dun sa mga may movie na kumita at hindi nalugi. Parang Star Magic ang peg. Family reunion ang peg ng filing ng COC, but you can't even blame them. Greed is part of human nature, and I usually don't say it like that, pero my defense against otherwise is that it is rooted in our genes to take and to take, to save for a rainy day. And maybe it hasn't registered to the malicious politicians na they already have enough to last 10 lifetimes for their bloodline. And if you remember from whenever talagang hirap ang tao pumili based on credentials alone, and why you or why we should expect them to do so. Why should we expect them to do so? We just want people to whisper sweet nothings in our ear. It's us being swept on our feet, and that crap is sad AF. And the problem here is that bakit mo sisisihin, or if you don't want to blame the people for perpetuating the system that they are in and of itself perpetuating, and so worsening themselves off, sana merong sana merong panache, sana merong showmanship, sana merong popularity naman itong mga tao na may credible platform and credible candidacy. Kasi kung gusto talaga nilang manalo and they want to operate under a democracy, they have to play by the rules. They have to play with the people that had the popularity. Kasi nga, it is sad na, yes, I am kind of defending the people that are running for political office, but it's just that we can't really have any fundamental law that could be passed without trampling their constitutional rights to participate in political affairs. Kasi nga, again, hindi naman sila ang naghahalal, hindi naman sila ang bumuboto sa mga taong ito. And sure, the people have no choice. But, at least the people that should, or the people that have the choice, the people that have the candidacy, the platform to actually run for office, sana gandahan nyo naman yung inyong, I don't know, political song, political jingles nyo. Galingan nyo yung oratory something, oratory skills nyo. Sure, napakagaling yung tao, napakagaling yung mambabatas. Magiging magaling kayong mambabatas. Pero when you can't even be elected to Congress, why would you kind of flaunt your candidacy, your platform, your everything that you advocate for, kung hindi ka naman willing to actually up your game, up your ante so that you could actually win. Kasi alam natin, democracy is a popularity contest, not a candidacy, credibility, advocacy, freaking platform contest. You should be known enough for people to actually be able to confidently vote for you. Yun ang sinasabi ko. You should be the one to clear and mop these people up. Just saying. And that's one of the flaws in democracy that we should tackle, but as of now, we can't do shit as of yet. One thing I can't shake is Diwata's announcement of their candidacy as their party list's fourth nominee in the House of Representatives to be met with ridicule. I mean, in all realities, credible pa nga si Diwata. Diwata's claim to fame is completely aligned with the party list that they are running with. Those for the vendors. Yun ang kanyang party list na tinakbo. Hindi siya pumunta ng city council or konsehala ng distrito. Okay, hindi niya ginawa yun. Ang ginawa niya, pumunta siya sa House of Representatives to be one of those marginalized groups na marerepresentan sa House of Representatives. That's right up their alley. That's something we can laud dahil hindi katulad ng iba, the advocacy and their experience aligns with the ticket they're running for. Hindi naman siya katulad ni Ross Martan or something. My classmate just wanted me to cover content creators push for politics kasi nga, it's a big deal. Pero hindi naman siya katulad nun na nag-city council. Hindi naman siya tumakbo sa city council. And I'm not even saying na we should vote for Diwata just because they are a vendor. They is a vendor because I'm talking to only Diwata. Because Diwata is a vendor. All I'm saying is that, it could be a far worse. Why are you focusing on Diwata? Diwata paras overload something. Kasi tatandaan natin na they are running for a political position that represents the people who they are. Mga vendors. And if you want to knock on Diwata for that, then sure, just do that. But just know na it's probably just a PR stunt. The vendor part of this, I don't think so, would win, pero it's a political stunt. It's a public or publicity stunt. And you can't blame them for that. Amy Marcos, ayaw kay Bongbong. In a pretty astounding show of defiance, inannounced ni re-election ni Senator and Presidential Sister Amy Marcos na hindi siya tatakbo under this senatorial slate ng administrasyon ng kanyang baby brother para sa paparating na 2025 senatorial and midterm elections. Maalala natin from the last NIDW recap na isa si Senator Amy Marcos sa mga senatorial bets ng administrasyon with a star-studded cast of products of political dynasties at celebrity culture and action stars, with some of them overlapping. Nang ini-introduce ni President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. si Senator Amy Marcos, he made a remark saying na kaya raw wala si Senator Amy ay dahil nanguna na raw siya sa pangangampanya, seemingly downplaying the absence of his sister sa launch ng kanyang mga senatorial bets, something that is a big deal para sa isang incumbent president.
Ang susunod na tagapagtaguyod ng ating bandera ay siya nang yatang pinakamatagal kong kakilala sa hanay na ito. Siya ay walang iba kundi ang aking kapatid, ang aking atay, si Manang Amy. Nasa dugo na po namin na manilbihan sa kapwa at ang pagmamahal sa bansa. Naging kongresista, gobernador at senador. Sabi rin nila, prangka daw siya. Pero ito ay pagiging prangka sa pagsabi ng totoo at ang pagkikiling sa tama. Sa kanya, sigurado ang kanyang Amy solution. Mga kababayan, kasama din po natin si Senator Amy Marcos na naunahan na ang mga ibang senador at busy na nagkakampanya at hindi makarating ngayong araw na ito.
Siguro narinig ako ni Amy because just a few moments or days later, in-announce niyang magda-drop out siya from the senatorial slate, insisting na gusto niyang maging independente sa kanyang kapatid at administrasyon as a sort of centrist, sometimes opposition force in the Senate. Kasi again, dalawa lang ang ating oposisyon sa Senado. Ayun.
Maraming salamat. Talagang sakripisyo na tumayo ng mag-isa, pero kinakailangan maging malaya at matatag. Eto nga, maraming nagsasabi noon na ako'y namamangka sa dalawang ilog. Ang ninanais ko ay ako ang daan kung saan magtatagpo ang lahat ng ilog. Tangway, ika nga sa atin. It's a tremendous sacrifice to stand alone. But I need to be free to cross the line, to talk to all parties, and to get things done. Uniteam was a dream that I shared in 2022, and I hold fast to that dream of unity for all Filipinos.
Taus-puso ang aking pasasalamat kay Pangulong Bongbong na sa kabila ng galit at labis na kalupitan ng ilan, ako'y pinagtanggol niya at naisama pa sa alyansa. Minabuti kong manindigan ng mag-isa upang wag nang malagay sa alanganin ang aking ading. Para wag nang mag-alinlangan ang aking mga tunay at minamahal na kaibigan.
What a shocker, am I right? Well, no. Not really, dahil we remember from June last year, isa rin siya sa mga nag-oppose in case of absence and or opposition of the Maharlika Bill being passed in the middle of the night. She casted doubts sa mga probisyon ng Maharlika Fund Corporation Bill, pero the moment it passed, she diverted her opposition and her position and just said na we need to support the administration in its goals. Kasi alam niya na it will pass surely. Nagkukunwari lang naman siyang opposition kapag alam niyang her vote wouldn't matter to gain political favor sa mga totoong opposition voters. But it could also be genuine in the form of her solidarity with Vice President Sara Duterte, now under attack from both the administration and the true opposition. Mostly self-inflicted from numerous blunders and that you can watch in my channel under NIDW Recaps or NIDW Mini Major Tidbits. Now, in all realities, hindi siya magiging opposition. Far from it. There came a time where such could relatively be something to be crudely interpreted. I remember when a news headline once said that one of the most stupid thing to ever happen is for the president's sister to bolster up the opposition in the Senate. And that shit is just sad. Imaginein mo, dalawa lang ang opposition sa Senado. Yung isa, hindi pa dama. Kaya the sisters president came to their side to put a stop sa rubber stamp of approval ng ating Senado. But again, nagkukunwari lang siya na opposition siya kasi her vote wouldn't really matter because it's overwhelmingly going to be passed. Sinabi rin ni Marcos na kaya niya raw mabuti or minabuting hindi sumama sa senatorial at administration's bet is to protect her friends and her brother from alanganin or tough spot dahil may masasaktan. Probably referring to VP Sara Duterte because she has been quite an ally of our OVP SWOH from protecting Kiboloy, opposing Maharlika Fund Corporation for a while, attending a prayer rally with no religious leader against People's Initiative for Charter Change, and she may be one of the few pseudo but ineffective opposition. I've even characterized them, including the possibility of the Duterte's comeback in the Senate chambers, as strategic opposition. Kasi nga, sinasabi ni VP Sara Duterte back in NIDW Recap number episode 57, the fact na gustong tumakbo ng tatlong lalaki sa pamilyang Duterte. Not because they're part of the opposition and what the true opposition stands for, but because opposition can strategically use them and vice versa as extra votes against things they want to oppose, but do not, and I repeat, do not ever let people like Harry Roque to tell you that the Dutertes are the real opposition, because you can't swap another evil from another evil, especially when the evil isn't even as bad as the evil you're going to replace it with as of yet. Here is PH News for your convenience. Alice Guo, not guilty plea. Naghain si Mayor Alice Leal Guo aka Guo Guaping ng not guilty plea sa mga kasong kanyang ikinakaharap na human trafficking sa Pasig Regional Trial Court, kung saan nakabinbin ang kanyang kaso sa di umano'y kaugnay ng mga Pogo Hubs illicit activities na nabunyag nitong Abril o Mayo sa Bamban, Tarlac, and in conjunction to the one in Pampanga. Matatandaan natin, hindi nagbayad ng bill si suspended Bamban Mayor Alice Guo initially noong una sa kadahilan ng hindi rin naman daw ma-achieve ang goal nito na makalabas ng detention facility si Guo dahil meron pa siyang arrest warrant galing sa Senado dahil sa kanyang hindi pagsupport sa mga hearing nito of which she was the person of interest. Now, bagamat nasa kustodiya siya ng PNP noong siya ay nasa Camp Crame, pinayagan pa rin siya ng Valenzuela Court na umattend sa hearing ng Senado kaugnay sa probe nito sa mga pogo syndicates and, alleged human traffickings. Now, ngunit, nag-post rin siya ng kinalaunan 540,000 pesos na bill sa Valenzuela Court dahil ito'y na-transfer from Tarlac to Valenzuela in the case filed by the Department of Interior and Local Government. Now, inilipat din siya from the PNP to the female dormitory of the Pasig City Jail where she spends her time. Bagamat nakapag-post siya ng bail para sa kanyang kaso ng graft, hindi pa rin siya makakalabas dahil meron pa rin siyang nakabinbin na kasong qualified trafficking, a non-bailable offense. Now you can watch the entire Alice Leal Guo aka Guo Waping saga and the subsequent escape at arrest ni embattled suspended Bamban Tarlac Mayor, alleged illicit pogo, Chinese spy suspect, and contempt citing warrant of arrest dodger Alice Leal Guo or allegedly Guo Waping. Bakasyon ng teacher, isang buwan na. Sa isang bagong guideline na inilabas ng Department of Education ng DepEd for DepEd Order No. 13 Series of 2024, itinas na ang VSCs o Vacation Service Credits ng mga guro from 15 days to 30 days kada taon. Sinasabi sa inilabas ng order na entitled na ang mga guro with at least 1 year of service para sa ating mga newly hired teachers appointed within 4 months after the start of class ng 30 Vacation Service Credits kada taon. Samantalang mga bagong guro namang na-appoint 4 months after the start of the classes will receive 45 days of VSCs per year. At yan na po tatapos ng News that Board Recap for the edition number 71 for roughly the first week of October 2024. Basta just more topics and our questions to balitas if you feel I'm presented them in any way. Ang init, sobra bakit ako naka-jacket, alas 12, 12:14 a.m. No, 12:14 p.m. Ang init, kakaligo ko lang, pawis na naman ako. Ito lang suot ko, wala akong pants. And yeah, I think I like the VP debate of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator ang pangalan JD Vance. Yeah. Most of just more topics and precious to believe this if I'm so presented man and always and mga kawang formulas where I'm saying also in about so obviously belaying tablet. So nung live go as ala. May kasi pa nga pala ako forgot. Shit.